Good morning, East Alabama and West Georgia. It is 3:48 a.m. on your Sunday morning, April 6th, 2025, and we are on the air for live severe weather coverage this morning for East Alabama and West Georgia. An ongoing storm system to our northwest is very slowly moving to the east and to the southeast this morning, bringing a lot of rainfall, very gusty winds, large hail, and we've even been noticing several tornadoes this morning, especially back off to our west and to our northwest. And the National Weather Service has issued a tornado watch, which now covers portions of East Alabama and West Georgia, valid until 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern this morning. You see Tornado Watch number 131 scrolling there at the bottom of your screen, and we will talk more about that in just a few moments. We'll show it to you on radar, and we'll take a look at what's taking place out there. But you're looking at the updated graphic on the screen this morning, which shows that a level 2 risk, 2 out of 5, exists this morning for all of East Alabama and West Georgia. And you'll also notice the timing there on the right-hand side of the screen. For most of East Alabama and West Georgia, we're talking between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. this evening. It's not going to storm that entire time. I think the line of storms will be in East Alabama and West Georgia by 10 a.m. this morning, probably by about 9 a.m., and then it will continue for several hours, 3 to 4 hours, maybe into the 3 or 4 o'clock hour this afternoon across the region. It's a very, very slow-moving storm system, so it is going to continue for quite some time. The severe threat of this is going to be along the leading edge of this line of storms, and that will probably last for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and then after that you're going to have heavy rainfall maybe for another couple of 2 hours. We're talking anywhere between 2 to 3 inches of rain may be common across East Alabama and West Georgia from this one event. So we certainly could be looking at some flash flooding issues, especially in areas that are flood prone. So if you live in one of those areas, you need to have a plan this morning as this line of storms moves our way. All modes of severe weather will be possible. We're talking tornadoes, damaging winds, and large hail. The tornado threat, though it is there, is not widespread. Because to get severe weather, you have to have a significant difference in temperature from the surface up into the upper levels of the atmosphere. Well, the air in the upper levels of the atmosphere with this particular system isn't especially cold. I mean, it is cold, but there's not a tremendous departure between the temperature at the surface and the temperature in the upper levels of the atmosphere. So we don't think this is going to be a widespread thing where every location along the leading edge of this line is going to deal with severe weather. There certainly, though, is a good chance that it could happen in some locations. The problem is we can't tell you exactly where that's going to be. A lot of folks ask the question, what about my town? Hard to tell you exactly what it's going to be in your front yard or on your main street in your town, but it is easy to tell you that the possibilities exist of tornadoes, damaging winds, and some large hail may also be possible. So what do you need to do on this Sunday morning to be prepared for severe weather? I hope you have a NOAA weather radio. If you didn't pick one up yesterday at Stevens Home Furniture in Roanoke, then first thing Monday morning, you got to be there and get your NOAA weather radio so that you're prepared for the next severe weather event, and there will be a next severe weather event. We're just now getting into the peak severe weather season across East Alabama and West Georgia, so you have to be prepared. Also, make sure you have a good app on your phone. You want to make sure you sign up for your local county government mass notification system in Randolph County, that is Regroup. You also want to make sure that you follow us and subscribe to us on Facebook and over on YouTube. And be weather aware. Make sure that you have multiple ways of receiving severe weather information. Never, ever, under any circumstance, should you rely solely on an outdoor warning siren system to be your only means of receiving severe weather information. Number one, that doesn't go off for severe thunderstorm warnings, only for tornado warnings. It doesn't go off for flood warnings, only tornado warnings. And furthermore, they're designed for, just as the name implies, outdoor warning, not indoor warning. They're never intended for, and nor were they designed for indoor warning. So please do not rely on outdoor warning sirens as your form of receiving severe weather information. That is very dangerous and could cause you to lose your life. You got to get out of mobile homes. You can't be in automobiles. You have to be weather aware so that you don't drive into a severe storm or a tornado. We see this happen every single time we have severe weather outbreaks across the Southeast. Some of the first photographs you start seeing of damage, significant damage, are to mobile homes and automobiles. Those are the two places you cannot be during severe weather. Get out of the mobile homes. If you're going to be in your automobile, be weather aware and don't drive into severe storms. It's senseless to see people get injured and die in severe weather. Those two things can be prevented. Stay out of your automobile and evacuate your mobile home. You got to have a plan. You got to know somebody that lives in a brick and mortar home. You got to have somewhere to go. Maybe it's a business that's open 24 hours, 7 days a week. Go somewhere other than your mobile home. No match for severe weather. Very simple. Get out of mobile homes. Do not drive in automobiles during severe weather. You do those things I just told you about and remain weather aware and get that NOAA weather radio, odds of you surviving severe weather are 90 to 95%. So do those things, and you don't have to be anxious about the weather. You're protecting yourself, and you're watching us this morning, so you are weather aware. So those are all good things. And, of course, know that the best, safest place to go is in a small room on the center of the lowest floor in your home or place of business. Basement if you have one, but you don't have to have a basement. Just get in a small room in the center of that lowest floor. Make sure you got something to protect your head and your family. We're talking baseball bats. We're talking motorcycle helmets, football helmets, anything to put your hard hat is better than nothing at all. Make sure you have something to cushion the blow from falling debris. We're talking about cushions off of the couch, a futon mattress, baby bed mattress, pillows, blankets. Also, you want to keep your phone charged throughout the day, so if you lose power, you've still got your phone to receive those weather alerts. Also, make sure you have something to make a loud noise, such as a whistle, hard-sole shoes. Put some water in that safe room. Be prepared just in the event that you have to evacuate to your safe room. And if you do have some debris and you can't get out of it, you got to have something to make a loud noise so the rescuers can get to you. These are just good ideas. Make sure the rest of the family know about it. Practice going to your safe room and just be prepared in the event that a warning is issued for your particular location. All right, so let's go ahead and run over to the radar this morning. This is the Southern Union State Community College Live Doppler HD radar, and we're looking at some storms that are moving across northwest Alabama, about to move into north central Alabama, and you're looking at the radar and you're going, oh my goodness, it's almost here. Folks, this is a very, very slow moving system. It's going to take several hours for it to move from where it is right now, which is just northwest of Birmingham, into East Alabama and West Georgia. We got a ways to go before this line moves into East Alabama and West Georgia. And you can see that tornado watch that I was talking to you about. Bear with me just 1 second here. I've got like 15 different monitors in the studio, and for some reason, we're having issues with the mouse. There we go. So I'm going to zoom out to give you an overall big picture, and you can see every county inside of that yellow box is under a tornado watch. Now, some of the northwest Alabama counties have already been released from the tornado watch. And you say, well, golly, it looks like there's still some really serious weather going on up there. The serious weather is right along the leading edge of this line of thunderstorms. And then what you see behind it, where you see all the red, that is just incredible rainfall rates. It's not severe. So the severe weather is right in here. All right, so that's where the severe weather is. All this stuff you see back up around the shoals, that's very heavy rainfall, thunder and lightning, and that's going to carry on for hours. But the severe weather is right along the leading edge of this front, and it's not going to last that long once it makes it into the area. So the tornado watch for East Alabama and West Georgia covers in our coverage area, Carroll County in Georgia, in Alabama, Cleburne, Calhoun, Talladega, Clay, Randolph, Tallapoosa, Coosa, and then back in central Alabama, we've got Elmore, Autauga, Chilton, and back into Shelby and St. Clair counties. It does not cover at the moment Chambers, Troop, Lee, Harris, Coweta, or Meriwether. But that will change. We'll see a new tornado watch issued probably in the next hour or so that will most likely replace the one that's in place right now across East Alabama, and they will extend it eastward into Georgia. Heard County is also included in this tornado watch, by the way. So my Georgia counties are Carroll and Heard. The Alabama counties are Cleburne, Calhoun, Talladega, Clay, Randolph, Tallapoosa, and Coosa of the Dr. Don coverage area. And then in central Alabama, Elmore, Autauga, Chilton, Shelby, and St. Clair. But again, this will change in the next hour, maybe hour and a half, 2 hours. They will issue a new tornado watch to replace the one that's currently in place, and they will extend it further to the east to include all of East Alabama and all of West Georgia. So let's head over to the take a look at the radar. And I see you folks there in the chat room. Good morning, Skylar. Good morning, Erica. We got half of the White County 911 Dispatch Center in the room with us this morning. For North Georgia, while I know I've got some North Georgia folks in here, let me just go ahead and switch to the Atlanta radar. And it'll take a second to load. Let me zoom in on Northeast Georgia. We do have a couple of special weather statements that are in effect up here in North Georgia, and that's going to be to the west of Dahlonega and to the west of Young Harris. That's for a pretty strong line of storms coming through Blue Ridge and Ellijay. That's moving off to the east, southeast. Nothing severe up here, and we have no watches in effect for the moment for northeast Georgia. That is subject to change, but at the moment, nothing imminent for White County. But within about 40 miles, we do have a strong line of thunderstorms stretching from the Blue Ridge region back down into Ellijay. So let's go back down to East Alabama and West Georgia. We'll switch back to Birmingham, and I'll just run this thing from top to bottom. Really not much happening at all in northeast Alabama. Again, behind the line of storms is just heavy rainfall this morning. The severe threat is right along the leading edge. So the severe threat moving into Gadsden. A very heavy rainfall in Coleman, but Coleman's getting on the backside of the severe threat. Cutting grass in Wadley this afternoon is probably a no-go, Chuck. Then the heavy rain and storm and severe threat continues back down the line to around Jasper. That's up there northwest of Birmingham, down into Fayette, just north and west of Tuscaloosa. We do have a tornado warning right on the Alabama state line, Mississippi-Alabama state line. This is going to be to the west of Aliceville, Alabama, to the southeast of Macon. Going to let this loop, and you can see that's a pretty good looking structure. And let me switch to the base velocity on it. And there you go. Your tornado would be right in this area. And that's going to be moving in this general direction. So you folks over here in extreme West Alabama, Aliceville, if you guys know anybody who lives in or around the Aliceville area, be a hero. You want to call them and make sure they're aware of what's going on. Lots of folks are still in the bed this morning. Unfortunately, a lot of folks still don't have a NOAA weather radio. For some reason, we can't get that across to folks. They're very important. You got to have them, especially for these nighttime and early morning storms. This thing is like having a NOAA weather. The NOAA weather radios are like having a storm weather siren, outdoor siren inside your bedroom. Trust me, they will wake you from dead. These things are extremely loud, and they'll wake you up. I mean, think about it, folks. I mean, use a little common sense here. You got a notification system sitting on your nightstand beside your bed, or you have a big outdoor siren a mile down the road. Now, which one do you think you're going to be able to hear at 2 o'clock in the morning with the wind blowing outside, the air conditioners on inside the house, rain's hitting the roof? Which one of these two devices do you think you're going to hear? I know the outdoor warning sirens are loud when you're standing outside or up under one of the sirens. They are extremely loud, but that's not going to carry into your bedroom or inside your home. You got to have a NOAA weather radio. You just have to have one. I know they're $40, $45. I get it, but it's a one-time purchase, and it could save your life and your family's life. So that's $40, $45 very well spent, in my opinion. But again, this is a tornado warning for extreme East Mississippi, over in northeast Mississippi, and about to move into Alabama. We'll see if the Weather Service carries that tornado warning into Alabama. This is to the southwest of Aliceville, which is over in the Tuscaloosa area of northwest Alabama. We'll go back to the reflectivity, and you can see that's, well, maybe not. Hang on. So we have another tornado warning. Let's see if this one is observed. Yeah, this is a confirmed tornado near Raleigh, Mississippi. to the northwest of Bay Springs. This is going to be just south of I-20, south and southwest of Newton, Mississippi. That's a little noisy right there. Let me see if I can. Let's see if we can look at this. Oh, where did my radar sight? Oh, that radar sight's down. That's one problem. All right, let's see if we can look at it from here. Again, no severe weather about to move into East Alabama or West Georgia. It's still well off to your west and northwest. You're waking up this morning, you're looking at the radar, and you're saying, well, we're about to be in the middle of it. No. This is a very slow-moving storm system. It's going to take a couple of hours, maybe even 3 hours, for it to get over into East Alabama and West Georgia. So we got a ways to go. We're looking at what's going on over in Mississippi at the moment. Okay, there we go. That's a much better look, and looks pretty decent, unfortunately. So your tornado is going to be right in here. And it's moving like so. So to the west, northwest of Bay Springs, Mississippi. If you know anybody that lives in that region, you need to call them this morning. Wake them up and tell them to go to their safe place. This is going to cross over I-20 in the vicinity of Newton, Mississippi, which is between Jackson and Meridian. And though we don't have a tornado warning, this storm down here bears watching real close. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning. But Collins, Mississippi, right there. It wouldn't surprise me at all if we don't catch a tornado warning on this storm very soon. That's a good look right there. That structure looks suspicious, and the velocity looks suspicious right there. It's kind of broad, but if that thing tightens up at all, they're going to pull the trigger on a tornado warning down there. And that's near Collins, Mississippi. If you know anybody in that area, go ahead and call them and tell them to be aware that they're under a severe thunderstorm warning, and it could go tornadic at any moment. So I'm going to take the tornado watch off the board because it gets kind of cluttered when we have so much going on. Just understand that a good chunk of Alabama, including about half, maybe 3/4 of our East Alabama counties and a handful of counties in West Georgia, are currently under a tornado watch. In Georgia, that includes, in our coverage area, that includes Carroll and Heard. In Alabama, it includes Cleburne, Calhoun, Talladega, Clay, Randolph, Tallapoosa, and Coosa of our coverage area until 10 a.m. this morning. And in Georgia, of course, that goes to 11 a.m. And then in central Alabama, Elmore, Autauga, Chilton, Shelby, and St. Clair also included in that tornado watch. And, of course, all the counties back in West Alabama. I anticipate a new tornado watch to be issued within the next hour that will replace the one that's currently in place and extend it further eastward to cover all of East Alabama and West Georgia. May very well get northeast Georgia as well. So you folks up in the mountains up here in White County, heads up. Could be looking at a tornado watch here in the next hour or so. Though I'll say the storms on the north end are behaving at the moment. We've got special weather statements out for Gilmer and Fannin County up in extreme north central Georgia. A couple of special weather statements up there. But nothing, no severe warnings at the moment. And so, again, we're watching that line that's still lagging back in Mississippi, and we do have a couple of tornado warnings. Interesting that we have that tornado warning in Mississippi. Alabama has chosen to go with a special weather statement. Instead of a tornado warning. Alabama Granny brings up a great point here, something I should probably say more often. Always pay attention when it comes to weather. Always pay attention to the date and the time. You know, the way Facebook is set up, I guess when they designed Facebook, they didn't really vision what it's turned into. And streamers use Facebook for lots of things, and one of the most important things is weather. And Facebook is not at all designed to be conducive to what we do with weather. I really was hoping at some point they would change a few things. So far, they hadn't done that. It'll show in the upper part of the video there in the header, it'll show how many hours old a post is. And then after you go so many hours past the original post date or time, then it'll show days. It won't show you a date. But you got to pay attention to that when it comes to weather to see whether you're looking at old information or not. And the saying in the weather world goes, if it's more than 5 minutes old, it's outdated. And in a tornado situation, it's even less time than that. If it's more than a minute old, it's probably outdated. So you got to really pay attention to whether the video is live or whether it's pre-recorded, and that's how you can tell. This is not pre-recorded. This is very much live at 4:15 a.m. on your Sunday morning, April 6th, 2025. We're looking at West Alabama. This is a tornado warning along the Alabama-Mississippi state line. And I think actually, I think that warning has been canceled in Alabama. It just hadn't fallen off of the graphic yet. And Alabama is replacing it with a special weather statement. So that's a good sign. Very rare do you see a tornado-warned storm go to a special weather statement. That's a pretty big drop. But that's a good sign. Yeah, that's a pretty strong mezzo there at 6. But the Weather Service has decided to go with a special weather statement, so. At 4:06 a.m., radar tracking a strong thunderstorm near Paulette, or 8 miles southeast of Macon, moving to the northeast at 55 miles per hour. Wind gust 50 to 55 miles per hour. Now, this is going to affect places in northwest Alabama, such as Aliceville, Carrollton, northwest Alabama, not Georgia, Dilberg, Pickensville, McMullen, George Downer Airport, Bevel Lock and Dam, and Macedonia. All right, for you folks up here in northeast Georgia, the National Weather Service has issued a special weather statement now for Lumpkin County and White County. Strong thunderstorms will impact portions of towns Lumpkin, southwestern Gilmer, northwestern White, and northwestern Dawson, Union, and southeastern Fannin counties through 5:45 a.m. this morning. We'll switch back over to Atlanta, and I'll show you that. So this is White County. That's Helen, Georgia, Cleveland, Georgia. You've got Dahlonega sitting over here, and you'll see the blue outline. So all of those counties are now under a special weather statement. You know, in the way this works, you have a special weather statement that's, hey, this is a strong thunderstorm. It is below severe limits, but it is strong. It's approaching severe limits, but not quite there. Then you have a severe thunderstorm warning, meaning that you have winds in excess of 58 miles per hour and large hail an inch in diameter or larger. And then, of course, there's the tornado warning, where you have a radar-indicated tornado or one that is confirmed. So that's kind of how the special weather statement, severe thunderstorm warning, tornado progression takes place. Now, these storms are below severe limits up here in northeast Georgia. And you'll see that the special weather statement only catches the extreme northwestern corner of White County. And for the most part, nothing up there but bears. That's up in the mountainous region. Oh, there are knuckleheads up there on the Appalachian Trail. That is true. But other than that, really not going to affect a lot of folks. Now, this special weather statement likely will get pushed a little bit further to the south and east as the storm moves in that direction. Slow mover, though. It'll take a minute for that to happen. There's the big picture, if you were wondering what. And we're looking at this from Atlanta, so you're not seeing the full. You can't see the stuff over here in Mississippi. We'll switch to Birmingham. There you go. Again, really, in Alabama, it's mostly very heavy rainfall. I mean, this is all this yellow and red is heavy, heavy rainfall. And we're talking 2 to 3 inches. Going to be very common before all is said and done today. And that's the progression of this storm. That's the direction that it's moving. Now, the individual cells are running off to the northeast, like so. But the system as a whole is moving east. That's the way storms work. You have that line moving across the state. Well, the individual storms are shooting off to the north and northeast, while the entire line is slowly moving to the east. And this red and these yellows up here in northwest Alabama, from Coleman to Huntsville back over to the Muscle Shoals and back down to Columbus, Mississippi. That's been ongoing now for about 4 hours. So you can imagine that the amount of rainfall that's being accumulated up here. So I'm going to run over to the chat room and we'll chit-chat for a few minutes, and then I'll probably take a break, and we'll continue doing this with updates about once an hour until this stuff gets a little closer to East Alabama and West Georgia, and then we'll go with live wall-to-wall coverage for you. Chambers County, when's it going to get to me? You got a couple of hours at least. What do you expect it to be when it gets to Randolph County? Hey, Kim Ritchie, I expect it to be stormy. There's no way to look at this and be able to tell you what it's going to be doing 2 hours from now versus what it's doing right this moment. All I can tell you is what the possibilities are. The possibilities are, damaging straight line winds. I think really, if I were to prioritize the threats on this system for East Alabama and West Georgia, not just Randolph County, there's nothing magical about a particular location that causes weather to be different from any other location. Mother Nature does Mother Nature. Being able to tell you exactly what it's going to do in your front yard is absolutely impossible for anybody but one person. And I don't have that connection to that point to be able to tell you exactly what it's going to do somewhere. But I can tell you that in this particular setup for East Alabama and West Georgia, I think flooding is going to be the number one threat. I think damaging straight line winds will be the number two threat. And then I think a small spin-up tornado will be the lowest of the three threat. So I think flash flooding is the overall number one threat. We're talking 2, 3, maybe even some localized 4-inch rainfall totals before this is all said and done. So copious amounts of rain on the way. Damaging straight line winds in the 40 to 50, maybe 60 mile per hour range will be plausible. And then a quick spin-up tornado along that line also possible. And then you have that threat of hail mixed in with all of that. Those are what the possibilities are, Kim, in Randolph County and every single county across East Alabama and West Georgia. Same thing for Newsite. Guess where you are? You are in East Alabama. Yeah, I saw that little cell sitting down there in southeastern Mississippi. There's a supercell down here just north of Hattiesburg that has prompted a tornado warning. Let me see if I can grab... different radar site. We'll take a look at that. Because that is one thing we haven't seen a lot of with this system. All the tornadoes have been right along that line. We've got a very small but pretty impressive looking supercell. This is a singular supercell thunderstorm that is advancing out ahead of the main line. There you go. There's your tornado right there. Now, this is down in just north of Hattiesburg to the west, a little bit southwest of Waynesboro. Now, that's the Alabama state line right there. this will probably, if it holds together, probably rotate into Alabama somewhere around Butler, between Toxie and Butler in southwest Alabama. This would be north of Chatham, Washington County. So if you got folks over there in Mississippi or Alabama, call them. Give them a heads up on this supercell thunderstorm. Pretty impressive, though it is small. Doesn't mean that it's not producing a significant tornado. It looks pretty good on reflectivity and on velocity. What time will it be in Lineville and Wedowee? Gonna be a minute. Let's see what we got here. 4:29. Golly, folks, it may be a couple of 2 or 3 hours before this thing gets into East Alabama and West Georgia. This is a very slow-moving storm system. Not gonna happen quickly. That's why we're seeing so much flooding that's taking place, is because communities along the path of this are just getting storm after storm after storm. Not all of them are severe, but all of them are producing very heavy rainfall. So if you live in a flood-prone area across Alabama or Georgia, and I'm talking anywhere, be prepared, because I really think that flooding is going to be probably the overall number one threat with this system across Alabama and Georgia. Could we have some severe weather with this as well? Absolutely. Damaging straight line winds, even a few small spin-up tornadoes and some hail. But I think the number one threat with this whole thing is going to be flooding from very heavy rainfall. 2 to 3 inches, I think, is going to be common, and I wouldn't be surprised to see some 4-inch totals before all this is done. By the way, you got you one of these yet? Your Dr. Don coffee cup? You could be drinking coffee with me this morning. Go to our weather store. The link is scrolling in the chat room, and you can get you a coffee cup. Part of the proceeds come back to support us here at Dr. Don's Weather. We also have T-shirts and hoodies and baseball caps. And if you go to Dr. Don's Weather at the very top of our page there, at the top of our news feed, you'll find a pinned link to get you over to Regina Smith, who is in charge of the Dr. Don What About T-shirts. Half of the proceeds from those come back to support us here at Dr. Don's Weather. So get your Dr. Don T-shirt, and then make your plans to join us at Boondocks in Wedowee, Alabama on May 31st for the second annual hurricane party. We're going to be there giving away some great stuff. We've got NOAA weather radios that we're going to be giving away. We're going to have a ton of fun, and we want you to be part of it. So get your shirt and come hang with us on May 31st at Boondocks in Wedowee. You know, you can tell folks who are from that area of East Alabama. There's a certain way you say Roanoke, and there's a certain way you say Wedowee. And Watley. And let us not forget about Woodland. Okay, folks, it is 4:32 a.m. It is April 6, 2025. We are on the air due to severe weather that's moving into the state of Alabama. We have a tornado watch that has been issued by the National Weather Service, which covers portions of East Alabama and West Georgia. I'm going to turn the watch back on. If you live inside of that yellow polygon that's on the map in Georgia or Alabama or Mississippi, you are now covered by this tornado watch. In Opelika, I hear you. Yeah, we may look at the Goodnight Randolph County shirts and Goodnight all locations. We may look at doing that at some point. But anyway, here we go with the tornado watch. If you're in Georgia, in the Dr. Don coverage area, which again, folks, is from I-65 in Alabama to Atlanta, west and east, and then north and south from I-20 to I-85. That's what I consider East Alabama, West Georgia, as it relates to our coverage counties here on Dr. Don's Weather. So in Georgia, we've got Carroll and Hurd. In Alabama, we have Cleburne, Calhoun. Then we have Talladega, Clay, Randolph, Tallapoosa, and Coosa of the coverage area. Outside of that, in counties that we pretty much cover, include Elmore, Autauga, Chilton, Shelby, and St. Clair are also under the tornado watch. And, of course, Birmingham is, and back toward Tuscaloosa and all the way back into Mississippi. But we typically don't cover those areas. Though, in a setup like we've got this morning where we do not have ongoing severe weather in East Alabama and West Georgia, we certainly would. If we get a confirmed tornado on the ground over in West Alabama, we'll be on it. Right now, we only have a very strong thunderstorm, and I mean it's strong, moving out of Mississippi right along the Alabama-Mississippi state line on the Alabama side of things now. This watch is most likely going to be replaced by a new watch within the next hour. And it will most likely be extended much further to the east. So I would anticipate all of North Georgia, probably back down Atlanta Metro, maybe down to about Macon, and then maybe even into the Albany area and down to about Dothan, would likely get painted into the next tornado watch. I mean, it could be a severe thunderstorm watch, but I think it's probably going to be a tornado watch. We've got some veering and some shear that's taking place out there, and that's why we're seeing some of these tornadoes form along this line of thunderstorms and at least one supercell down in Mississippi. So, yeah, we're going to watch this for you. I'm going to step aside and take a break because we've still got at least a couple of hours, if not 3 to 4 hours, before this makes it into East Alabama and West Georgia. This is an incredibly slow-moving storm system. That's why we're seeing copious amounts of rain along this thing. It's not that wide, but it's just not moving. It's not going anywhere. So we're looking at 2 to 4 hours before this makes it into East Alabama and West Georgia, depending on where you are in East Alabama and West Georgia. So got a long way to go with this storm system on your Sunday. Remain weather aware. It is 4:36, so you can expect me back in here by about 5:30, 6 a.m. We'll do another update for you. And as soon as these storms start to touch or affect any of our East Alabama counties, then we'll go wall to wall with it as long as there's a severe weather threat, and we'll cover it for you right here on Dr. Don's Weather. Help us out when you can. All of the different options to support Dr. Don's Weather is scrolling in the chat room. Support us and show us some love. We appreciate that. That helps keep us streaming here on Dr. Don's Weather. And I'll see you back in here shortly with another update on your stormy Sunday morning across East Alabama and West Georgia.